A new TanStack library just dropped, and this one was the last missing piece of the puzzle, TanStack AI. If you have read the previous issues of my newsletter, TanStackWeekly.com, I have also teased the arrival of this library, and now that it's finally here, let's check it out together. So what is TanStack AI? Well, it's a powerful open source AI SDK with a unified interface across multiple providers. In other words, it makes it easy to connect to third-party AI providers like OpenAI or Anthropic, etc. Now, what makes AI SDK so special? Well, first of all, it's fully type-safe, also supports ZOD schema inference, and if you have worked with any TanStack library, you know how awesome the developer experience is just because of this type safety. It just feels like everything is flowing when you're writing the code because the types are just inferred. You just define them in one place and they're everywhere in your code base, which is awesome. It also has built-in streaming, so you can stream from third-party API to your front end through your backend. We're going to take a look at the code right away, but this is also built in, and it also supports isomorphic tools. This is very relevant when working with TanStack Start, which has an isomorphic function running model, I guess. I have also made a specific video about that if you're interested in that topic. It's framework agnostic, which means it works in any, I think, JavaScript library. I wouldn't push it to other languages. And as you can see, it also supports a lot of JavaScript frameworks by default. It also supports many AI providers, OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini, Llama, and more. It also has a built-in approval tool flow, which means that when the AI tries to make a tool call, the user can accept it or reject it. So that's also built in. And it also has automatic execution. So both server and client tools execute automatically. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure what this point means. If you have an idea what this means, please drop it in the comments below. But now let's have a look at the library itself. So TanStack AI is framework agnostic, which means that it works with basically all the frameworks that you know. It supports Next.js through API routes and app router, so we're not talking about pages router yet, I guess. Also supports TanStack Start. Of course, this is the recommended option, and I'm also going to show you a code example for that right away. Supports Express and Remix router. And I think if you're watching this video, you're probably using one of these frameworks, and I hope that is the second one. So TanStack AI is made up of multiple packages. The first one is the core package, which is TanStack/AI, and this one has all the basic functionality of AI. We're talking about AI adapters, chat completion, agent loop, tool definition, and also all of that type safety stuff. Then we have TanStack/AI client, and this one takes care of the client part of the AI part, which means managing the streaming or managing the communication with the AI on the server side. And this has all the functionality that you would expect, meaning streaming support, connection adapters, automatic tool execution, and also this tool approval flow handling that I just talked about. And then there's also a package specifically for React, and this one is giving you all the hooks that you need to use TanStack AI with your React application. We're talking about the use chat hook, automatic state management, tool approval flow support, and also all of that type safety goodies. There's also an adapter for Solid.js, but since I don't use Solid.js, I'm just gonna skip over this one. It also has adapter packages for third-party AI providers. So we're talking about OpenAI, Anthropic, Google Gemini, and Llama. Each one of them has their own package. Now let's take a look at the code and see how this works in real life. So after you install all the needed libraries that you need, this is probably going to be TanStack AI, React, and a third-party adapter, in this case OpenAI. You can set up your server route. Of course, you don't want to make requests from your front end to OpenAI. You want to go through your server. That way you have control, but you also don't leak your API keys. So in this example, the server is just going to have a post endpoint, and this code is valid in TanStack Start, but also in Next.js. So we have our post function. Here we just check if there is an environment variable for OpenAPI key. If that's not set, we send an error. And then we can grab the request parameters. So we have the messages and the conversation ID. And here we make a request for the third-party API. So chat is a function that comes from TanStack AI. We pass in the adapter, TanStack OpenAI. Then we also pass in the messages and the conversation ID. And of course, you should also specify the model. And this is gonna return a stream that you can return to the front end. And that's all for the server part. Now moving on to the client. Here we have a React example, and this is a typical chat application. So we have a state for the input that the user has entered. We're gonna use this right away. And then we are using this use chat hook that comes from TanStack AI React. And here we are passing in a connection to the backend. This is going to look slightly different depending on how you defined your backend endpoint. And if you're using a normal TanStack start server function for this, then it's also going to look a little bit different. This is going to return a few fields. We're talking about is loading, send message, which is a function, and then the messages that we can show the user. And afterward, we have this handle submit. This is where we send the message. So we just call this send message. This is going to be called when the user clicks on send. And then you can just render UI. So we show the messages. Each message has a role. It's either assistant or user. You can show it a little bit differently. And then you can also render each message part. If it's still thinking, then you can show some kind of loading on that message. And of course, we also have this user input where the user can enter a message. And before you go, I just wanted to show you how the tool definitions work. It's also type safe, so you just define a tool definition using this function, give it a name, an input schema, and you can actually also pass in an output schema as well. And after you defined your tool, you can also implement it using the .server implementation. You can also, I think, use .client because it's isomorphic. And here you just receive the parameters that you have defined in your schema, all type safe for you, and you can run your function on the backend. And having this tool definition, you can just use it on your backend and frontend as well. So that was it for TanStack AI. I'm really excited to start using it in my own projects. I'm also really looking forward to see how it works with TanStack Router / TanStack Start. Let me guys think what you think of it in the comments. And if you haven't already, check out TanStack Start. It's a free newsletter that I have started just a few weeks ago. It has received a lot of positive feedback and I'm really thankful for that. And I'm already writing the next issue as I'm recording this video or as you're watching it. And one last thing, I am almost at 10,000 subscribers and I would love it if I could reach it before the end of the year. So if it just happens that you forgot to click on subscribe, I would be really thankful for that. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Ciao.